Hi. Hello, everybody. Can you guys hear me? I'm hoping yes. Or am I just talking to myself? Hello. Thank you. Never done this before, so this is a first. I hope everybody's having a very lovely weekend. I'm waiting on my partner to come up and join, and we will get started. There we go. Alrighty. Almost there.
Hi.
Hello. I am out walking right now, so hello everyone. So if you hear any birds or anything, that's in the background.
Today we will be talking about a whole bunch of writing, how to get your writing published, all genres, most genres.
Oh my god. I'll just introduce myself right now. So hi everyone to all those tuning in. My name is Yadava. I'm the co-lead of resource creation project here at Simply Neuroscience, and I'll be really looking forward to talking about writing in terms of research and translating it to the general public.
Awesome. And for those who don't know, I am Dachel Fohne, and I will be talking about how to get your writing published. I'm more into the poetry and the news article realm, but I'm sure we can cross over here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, I co-direct the writing.
Yeah, she is amazing
That's
at
what I
coding.
forgot.
She is amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I try.
You've been managing our team
Alrighty.
really well in terms of writing, so I give you credit for that.
A lot of work.
A lot of work
A lot
done.
of very
Oh.
meticulous work. Pancakes.
Alrighty, do you want to get started? I think it's
Of
period 2
course.
now. Yeah, or do you want to wait 1 minute for everyone else to come in?
Sure, yeah, we can wait.
Guys, comment just how you guys are doing, things like that. I know for college people it's near midterm, so good luck for anybody that's doing that.
Whew, that can't imagine. Good luck. Oh wow, connection is coming in. You've become a robot.
Oh my.
Huh?
Oh, sorry. I must be far away from.
Yes. Uh-oh. In the meantime, do you get a little banner that says encountering technical difficulties, please stand by?
Okay, I think we should be good now.
Cool.
Okay. All
Yes.
right. All right. So do you want to get? I think we should get started now. So, Dishelle, do you want to just go first, just talking about your writing experience and other things like that?
Cool writing experience. All right. So I've been writing more professionally since 2017 now. And mainly it's been poetry, prose, and then just the past year I've been getting into or not research articles, but news articles, and which are very research based. And so far so good. There's a lot to learn, and pitching your articles and giving them out to people who want to publish them, that will teach you a whole bunch. And you really just got to go for it, which we will be talking about today. And
All right.
yourself.
Yeah, so I've been doing research for the past 5 years now. So I've done like a lot of multiple projects, and I wrote like quite a few pieces of paper. And over the last year during the pandemic, I get started writing my research papers and translating them for the general public, just for them to make them easier to understand, and also bringing up like healthcare issues and international related issues.
Very interesting. So to
So
begin
I
with,
guess
how would you, or go right ahead.
no, you can go.
Okay. So I guess what would be appropriate starting from the beginning? How would you, I've gotten this question a lot, helping people in the writing department. How do you know what to write about and how do you go about it? Like there's a whole bunch of genres and a whole bunch of ways to take your writing.
So that's a very good question. I would definitely say for me, you have to really gauge your interests. So like for me, I'm really passionate about neuroscience. This is why I joined Simply Neuroscience. I'm really passionate about international relations and talking about global issues going on in politics. So definitely have articles already written in interest. So for me, like the BBC, for example, writes a lot of articles on global international issues. So I usually use them as a reference whenever I'm writing, and then try to find different student organizations, you know, even starting at the school level. I know some of my friends had a literary magazine that published their writing, and it was really interesting to read, at least in the student groups. So or
Awesome.
find like um, as well.
You're breaking up a bit. You want to go back like a
Oh,
few
sorry.
sentences? No, you're good. You're
Yeah,
good.
sorry.
It happens.
Yeah, so I was saying that so if you guys want to join, if you publish your writing, the ways I found it were two ways. Number one, your school, um, a magazine that where you can publish articles or things like that. Or another thing is that you can search up student groups. There's a lot of student groups that have popped up during the pandemic that have started writing articles. So that would be a great way for you to just get engaged with other writers and try to find ways to publish it.
For sure. Awesome. And I know, yes, paying attention to your audience, like you mentioned, was a huge part of the whole writing process, actually. And then giving it out to places is a whole nother thing because a lot of the times, as writers know, not every writing you give out to places gets published. And is there like a pitch process for science articles or science anything like research related topics?
So I think pitches are really different. So I know you could cover that more. I would say for definitely science articles, there really isn't necessarily a pitch other than just you're giving your general idea and writing the paper, and you're going to submit it for like review. And then afterwards, once you submit it for review, it gets edited, and then like it's a back and forth process over a couple of weeks to just make sure everything's perfect. But I know from your side, in terms of like poetry, I know like you don't have to write the article, you have to really sell it to them first.
True. News articles, it's you give your idea first, and then if they like that and they see that you're qualified enough, then they be like, all right, write for us. Which is, yeah, totally different. And it's a very iffy kind of hobby career path, depending on how you go about it.
Yeah, so definitely I would say that I give you so much credit for writing about poetry, general articles. I'm more towards the science. I now a lot of students have reached we usually write like these huge research papers, and afterwards we translate them to the general public. So they just do like a page or two, just talk about research and what the information.
You're breaking apart really bad there.
Oh, hold on, let me try this.
Alrighty. More technical difficulties, please stand by. We're getting there.
All right, is it better now?
A bit, yes. Yeah.
All right. So I was saying that definitely with science articles, it's definitely one of these things where you have to really write your article first and then get it heavily edited. So I would definitely say over the past few years, a lot of more scientists and a lot more undergraduate researchers have been really developing their own ways to get that information out to the general public. So definitely if you write a big research article, a good way for me was that to translate it into a page or two and use like a lot of common terms. Because honestly, not a lot of people have time to read such a huge research paper. And writing just for the general public is just absolutely amazing, not only to get your information out, but to just gauge more interest in the subject you're really passionate about.
Very true. Also, perfect connection. Got that clear and through. That's awesome.
So how is it like for you when you write poetry? Because that side I give so much credit for people who come up with those different ways that, you know, we get really fascinated about reading. I know like when the inauguration was happening in January, um, the person who read that amazing poem was able to construct it really well. I gave her so much credit for the art. So how is it like for you to write all that and get that creative flow going?
It really depends. Like for some people, it takes longer than others. Usually, I give myself a time limit so I don't try to dwell on like an idea for too long and then end up like messing it all up. I tend to write at night. Creative juices get flowing. If you ever want to write at night, that's the way to do it. Um, but I do write first. I prioritize that I write what I want to write. You know, the last thing I want to do is give my writing away and then have it not be good. And the only way you can have it be good is if you write what you want to write. And I think that's an important part. Like you said, you have to captivate your own interests and you have to be original and just go for it, really. Which is like such plain advice, but but it's true. You can fine tune things on the way, and of course, there's an editing process. Some people, including myself, it's just like a one and done thing. But editing really helps if you feel like you need that or want that buffer of, oh no, am I wording this right? um, and as far as where you give out your poetry to, there's this lovely platform called Submittable. Not sponsored. um, Basically what it is, it's a huge directory of who is accepting writing, and it makes the application process and submission process so much easier. And you just sign up, make a free account, and submit out to places. And I can tell you right now, there is absolutely no risk to it because there is a free submission tab list.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, for sure. I know some of these like research places, like you got to pay like a $50 fee or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I think poetry is a great way to get your foot in the door. Not only because it is like super cheap, accessible, you know, all these places are looking for it, but it is super competitive though. That's the only thing about it. So I've gotten like hundreds of messages of like, nah, we're not going to accept your work this time. That's fine.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it takes time. It's very time consuming. I think a better way to go about like getting your foot into the door of writing is news articles because news happens all the time. And it's more easy to get your opinion out there than it is like put something creative out there. I feel like this world situation makes things very serious. So it's like if you have, they're going to prioritize news over poetry.
Yeah, definitely. And I find that really interesting what you said about like that difficult to process to publish. I never realized, as a person who's mainly been in the science field, I've never realized that it's really difficult to just publish poetry, because I feel like there's so much content that is out there, but as you said, there's so much content that's not out there from like student publications and other things like that that really do deserve it. So thank you for highlighting that the competition's really tough,
Yeah,
but I give you credit for keep trying. I think that's what we give both of us advice to any writers, be it that you're writing news articles, poetry, or anything. It's just like keep trying. Something you only need like one publication to just like go from there.
very true. And you can always join an organization. That's what I did when I joined Simply Neuroscience,
Hmm.
I came with an organization that was very professional, and then that boosted my writing career way up there. And now I have a good about 10, 12 publications out there, uh,
Ooh.
poetry and news articles combined. And yeah, it really just takes time and perseverance. Like you're gonna get so many messages saying we don't want to accept it, but then that one that you do is like puts you over the top, and there you go.
Hmm. I would also definitely say about the publication fees for students out there that want to write. That certain journals and certain publications will definitely ask you for a fee before submitting. I remember when I was writing an article based on, basically did like a research article based on like the Rohingya refugee crisis going right now in Myanmar. And I was trying to submit it to this one journal, but they said like $75 per submission and it may not be guaranteed. And it was like a
Ooh.
very hefty price tag for students
Mm-hmm.
like that's on a budget. So it's like as you said, like there's so many publications out there that are absolutely free, that you can easily just publish your article or even just get in touch with other people that are interested in writing. If you have the means to pay for a publication fee, I would definitely say for go for it. But there's just so many other ways and so many other student and other organizations that are willing to look at your paper, not for a cost.
Very true. There's also this lovely little trick I picked up along the way. Basically, you go through Instagram and then you go to a single organization, and then from there you go to the recommendations list along that organization. You'll come up with a whole bunch of more organizations, and you just keep clicking. Like mainly the startup organizations with like only 1,000 followers or something. They're going to be in need of writing, so they're going to be more apt to take your writing.
Mhm.
And that's a good way to get your foot in the door too. Just rack up a whole bunch of publications. But then, of course, as you get into the more experienced realm, comments.
Oh yeah, I just saw it. For the person that asked for dyslexic medics, no, this is simply neuroscience. I'm so sorry to disappoint you.
um,
Um, but
yeah,
thank you
I'm
for
not.
joining.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm not dyslexic or medic, so I can't tell you where to go either.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
We just love our viewers.
Yes, got a whole bunch coming through here every now and then. Um, but yes, as I was saying, know your worth too. When you get up there, don't be giving out your if you want to further your writing career even, don't give out to like publications that are just beginning. Like when you're getting into your more 10, 20 publications already gotten through, You want to eventually know when to prosper. And I think that's hard for some people because, we talk about it a lot. It's simply neuroscience, imposter syndrome, where you're like, I don't think I'm fit for service here.
Uh,
Yeah, but your writing will eventually get out there. It takes time and a lot of failed publications, but you'll get there. What's the worst that could happen? Someone says no and move on with your day. It's not like they're going to remember that. They're going to have a whole bunch of more publications to sort through. So
yeah,
the worst that
definitely.
can happen is a simple no. And
Yeah.
but the best that
I
can
feel
happen is a
like
yes.
yeah, I feel like students fear simple though when rejection happens. Even when writing, like as Dachel mentioned, like in writing you're gonna get so many rejections with your articles. And maybe not even if it's a yes, like you have to go through a severe editing process, which I think we'll talk about next. But yeah, just don't fear that no. It's like I know a no sounds like the end of the world, but like it's really not. Once you get used to it, like you'll get used to it eventually. And then once I was like, rejection, this is the whole writing process. But like if you don't experience like rejection, I feel like you don't become a better writer. Right. So like
That's very true.
to get those like interesting topics, to get those hot headlines, or like even just to write better, rejection just means keep trying and just keep going because you're going to get better and better each and every time. Yes, for the person that's said imposter syndrome can take over your life, it definitely can, but there's so many different ways to beat it out. But Dachel, did you want to talk about the editing process? So let's suppose you're writing an article and it does get published. There's a severe editing process with a lot of editors. So do you want to just talk about that?
Yeah. All right. So poetry, throw the editing process out the door. It's a one and done thing. But with news articles, the longest editing process I've gone through was like 3 days of like constant emails back and forth. And very proud to say that San Diego Union Tribune did take my writing. But by the end, my writing was yeah, mere flex. The article looked almost completely different by the end of the 3 days, and I did not expect that. It really caught me off guard, like it was like, wow, that changed like the tone and everything of my writing. So at first I was like, okay, this is like freaking me out, like this is not right? But they will heavily change it when you get into the more, academic, like higher level publications. And you just have to be okay with that. It happens. But if something is completely changed in terms of like your voice, your message, I think you should definitely bring it up. It's not worth ruining your reputation over saying something you didn't mean to say, But yeah, that's the only hard part I struggle with, like having your stuff changed a bit.
Yeah. Obviously with the editing process for me, it's like I tend to like, for me, it's like basically about sentence structure. I make a lot of ideas flowing, my ideas construct into sentences, and for them to be very strong opinions may not be the best. So I definitely think the editing process, it does take a couple of days. As Dachel mentioned, her longest took 3 days. Mine took 2 weeks. So that was fun. That was a fun time. I only had 2 editors, but they for each week they severely edited my article, and they really went into discussion about grammar, about how to make your sentences better, and just overall the idea. But I think one of the articles I wrote, it was an international related issue, and the editor says, this is a really great paragraph structure and everything like that. But I don't think the idea is there. The convincing sentence structure that we need is not there. And, I really thank the editing process, because at first when you read an article that you wrote, you're just like, this is the best thing I've ever written. And like this should be sent throughout the world. Like that's how we all feel. And it really humbles you to realize these editors are not here to destroy your career. They're here to make you better. And at first it's really hard when you get that first that heavily I don't know, Google Docs, if anybody knows of Google Docs, when you see all those pink lines, those pink edited words are green, and it's just like, wow, okay, we need to get better at this. But over time you get better and better, and those editors become really great friends of yours. They know you're writing well, so they get to know your weaknesses and your strengths. So I will definitely say that editing part I'm really thankful for, and don't be nervous about it.
off the top of your head, what is like the best generic writing advice? Like specifically for what you said, editing process, like sentence structure or
Okay.
whatever.
Um, you need to find the time when you write the best. Like Deshawn mentioned earlier, she writes best at night. I write the best when I wake up at like 5 a.m. in the morning, and just like I like it. I just make like coffee or like or chai. For those who don't know chai, it's basically this Indian tea. Um, or and just like keep writing throughout till like sunrise happens. For me, that's the best time. So definitely, I find that if I were to give a cliche writing thing, it's like find the time where you write where you think you have the most energy, because writing takes up a long time. I thought I could write an article in 30 minutes. Took me 3 hours.
Yes,
I'm not a superhuman, but definitely find the time and place where you think you could be the best version of yourself. Because if you're the best version of yourself at that time, your writing will reflect that.
very true. And I think for me, that would be one, know your audience, know what you want to write about. And then two or three, 2.5 at this point, probably. It would be this little thing called pathos, egos, and logos, or logos.
Uh-huh.
And then, so basically, that this is like something that I learned in the editing process my first time I got a research article or news article out there. I was very fact heavy on my writing, which like that's one part of like the whole persuasion pyramid, I guess you call it. um, a lot of editors like seeing well, for like a news article more so, not like research based, but they
Yeah.
like seeing a human part of your writing. They like that human connection. We're all going through this like common struggle, but it's fine kind of thing. Like it's
Mhm.
very, you need a very rounded like skill set within your writing. That caught me off guard the
Yeah.
first time I wrote something. You got to make sense. You got to have your research in there, and you got to have like this human reflection. And that's what really makes like a convincing article or piece, I guess you could say.
Yeah, as you mentioned, like ethos and pathos, we learned that in English class and we think, okay, yeah, whatever. But it really just helps you a lot. I remember even um, writing an article, and like it was very fact based, as you said. And although in scientific writing, you really need facts, but when you're trying to get it out to the general public, you're trying to make a convincing point. And I think, at least in the science realm of things, it's very hard for us, or very hard for scientists, because they weren't used to like writing in like, with emotion. And I think if you're trying to make a point, if you're trying to say why the study is important, why it's important to someone's lives, it's important to mention and it's important to write about emotions. So usually what I tend to do to improve that, because that is a weakness of mine, I usually just like there's thesaurus.com.
Yes.
So, yeah. So I usually just pull up that, and even like for basic words like pressure, for example, or like infiltrated, things like that. I'm using words from like the last article I wrote, which was about Navalny. So I'll discuss that later. But yeah, definitely I use thesaurus.com. It's been a savior for my life because it helped me make stronger. It made me build that emotion that the readers need to feel when they're trying to understand a point. And definitely, as Michelle mentioned, that's really important.
Yes. I remember using that back in middle school. So it works. It's been a while, but it works.
Hmm.
That kind of leads on to another very important part. I think knowing who you're going to try to give your writing out to, what they want in writing, that will also increase your chances of getting accepted to them. I know some publications, they have a theme, and if you don't fit that theme, well, yes, you're going to get denied. And I think that's with a lot of places in their own way. Like certain magazines have their own like niche, and you just gotta fit that.
Exactly. So like, I'll let you say if people know the Atlantic. The Atlantic publishes a lot of different things, but recently they've been really into politics. So definitely, if you want to incorporate politics in health, politics in writing, definitely, as Michelle mentioned, look out for those niches. Um, so yeah, Michelle, did you actually want to go back to the pitches thing? If for anyone else joining still here, just how to write a general pitch to a company like the Atlantic or the Huffington Post that will make them really want to see your writing, or even not to them, maybe to like student publications at universities.
Yeah. All right. So when I tried to pitch to the LA Times a long time ago,
She's already
well,
reaching high bars.
I know I'm trying. Uh, what they want to hear is that you know your stuff. You want to tell them in about 2 paragraphs or less, very small paragraphs too. You do not want to bombard them because they have hundreds to look through a day. You want to tell them who you are, why you're qualified to write about what you're writing, and what you will be writing, what you will be contributing to them. And that's basically the 3 main points right there. Do not give your article within the email because one, they're not going to read it. Two, if you apply to a more like lesser known publication, they might take that and write it off as their own. So do
Uh-huh.
not give your writing away without the pitch first, and the pitch will be responded to if they want your writing.
Definitely. So when someone writes a pitch, what can they include in their email that will really make them stand out?
Ooh, that's a good one right there. um, you want to always appeal to who you're writing for. So, for example, you want to tell them why your article or whatever is going to benefit their audience. Why your article is going to benefit their audience. Easily said. So, for example, the other day I was writing a outdoor related article and I pitched to an outdoor related publication. And I said, your audience might benefit from this because outdoor safety is, very important. As we've seen a few months ago, this is like the so far deadliest avalanche season the US has had in a while.
Hmm.
So I think just knowing who you're pitching to and telling them why you're benefiting their audience is a very helpful part to the pitch process.
Exactly.
So far, so good.
Yeah. All right. I know it's like 3:30 right now, so if we just want to wrap up a few things here. Um, you know, Michelle, so I guess I can talk about it first. Is there any article that you've written that really stood out to you, and why did it stand out to you about what you wrote?
Whew, that's a whole lot. uh, I've written a few good articles. Off the top of my head, though, there's this funny story to this one writing. So that came to mind first. But I wrote this article in a day,
I
and
give you
then
ma-
pitched it out. Huh?
I give you massive credit. I cannot write an article within a day.
I wrote this one article in a day, and I stood up, or yeah, stayed up all night just to get it done, and then I pitched in the morning. And then it was a news article about how teenagers, the you know, unfortunately, we have teenagers in this country who, vape. It's a
Mhm.
thing. And research this year for tobacco use, I believe, said that, yeah, we're on a down for teenage vaping. And I was like, well, no kidding, because no kids are at school to do it when their parents aren't looking. So,
Exactly.
so I wrote a news article about how that number is probably going to rise again when we go back to school.
Hmm.
And the fact that I wrote it in a day was just like striking to me. And I'm surprised I got accepted, but that
Hmm.
that came to mind when you said special articles.
Yeah. No, I give you so much credit. And, like, as we said, that's a really interesting topic. Um, that's a really, like, a thing that our generation knows really well about. But, like, when we're talking about the current headlines, we really don't see that. So I give you credit for highlighting that because I think it's so important that we talk about vaping and just saying that even though the rates are down, they're probably going to increase, as Michelle mentioned in her article, within the next year or so. So I think it's very important to highlight such things. So that's another thing before I go into mine, that like if you have a topic you're passionate about, just write about it, because honestly, it might be something that not a lot of people know, and it might benefit you at the end to highlight something, a matter that maybe not be a hot headline.
Right. And like, yeah, you said too, if you have like a weird, different, way different like opinion or like a catchphrase or headline, you want to say it, you want to write about it because that's what gets your writing out there. It's not the same bland stuff that gets your writing out there. It's like the shock value that, for example, made The Onion such a popular satire place. Your
Mm-hmm.
point.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the articles I wrote was in September of this year. So, for those that don't know, I started writing these science articles, general science articles for the public. I'm a first year undergrad. I started in September, so I'm very new to this. So, it was a very nerve-wracking process to give it to my first publication ever. But you know what? It worked out in the end. So what I wrote about was actually pediatrics going on in the Yemeni civil war, and how children right now are facing so many diseases and the world's not really paying attention. I really didn't know how that article would turn out because although I was really passionate about it, I thought like no one would read it because we're in the middle of a pandemic still. And so I really thought I was going to just all be COVID focused. But um, when I published it and when I got like a lot of feedback and a lot of great things about it, I really felt proud in the sense that although when we think about civil wars, we think about soldiers, countries, politics, we forget about the kids that are impacted, even teenagers who may have had a disruption of their lives. And I think it's so important that we highlight um, these unknown topics to the general public so that, it brings up not only awareness, but I'll actually like educate you a bit on just how the globe is running, even in terms of like known diseases. So for me, I covered like cholera and how that's still a thing, even though it's not a thing here in the United States, Canada, or in Europe. So yeah, I was really proud of that article, and I printed it out and like put it in like this binder. I started doing this thing where I print out my articles and put them in a binder. It's great, one thing to look at it online, but like when you have a physical copy, you're just like, this is mine.
Yes.
Yes.
That's so true. That's a very interesting article, but yeah, I like what you thought about when to publish that because yeah, as you said, COVID just articles flooded everywhere. But to have something different to read, that's everything. Nobody wants to hear about the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. Alrighty.
Perfect.
Yeah. For folks that just may have just joined, or we're about to wrap this out soon, some of the things that Dachel and I covered were basically how to pitch your article, how to write from scientific to a journal. And I think one thing I will definitely mention is that definitely a few things students can do to publish. So as Dachel mentioned, she published to major publications like the LA Times. Yes, they publish student articles. I feel like for writers that are this young, they really think they have to publish in like just literary magazines at their own school. And although that is absolutely fantastic and I fully support that, you can also venture out. Don't be afraid to venture out.
Yes.
Also, yeah, and also reach out to student groups. There's a lot of student groups out right now that are creating to get articles pitched out on their own websites. And I think it's so important to like, just only help, not only help them out, but meet other writers that can influence the way you write, influence the way you speak in throughout your article and make it stronger. And finally, don't be afraid of editors. I mean, like editing and rejection is a huge process in writing. Dachel has probably more experience than I do in that. But it's definitely something that everybody has to go through, but it just makes you so much better over time. Dachel,
Perfect.
did you have anything to say about that?
No, really. I think we like covered everything like in a considerable time length and everything. Do you have anything more importantly?
Um, no, I would just say for people, I think our Instagram handles or like Simply Neuroscience Instagram handle will be at the end of this IGTV. So if anybody wants to reach out to Dachel and I, please feel free to do so. We're more than happy to help anyone that really wants to get on this writing career because honestly, it is one of the best things you can ever do just to not only improve your comprehension, but to raise awareness about certain things going on.
Very true. And I will be saving this Instagram live and reference. Perfect timing though, because ironically I have to go give a writing department meeting. So thank you very much for all who came and all who will see this live when I save it and put it on the Instagram page.
Great. Yeah, from Dachel and I, thank you so much for everyone for joining. Feel free to view the Simply Neuroscience page. We have a lot more content, not only just on writing, but about students in undergrad and high school, and about a lot of other neuroscience topics that hopefully you all are interested about.
Yeah, thank you very much and have a great rest of your weekend.
All right, bye Dachel, bye everyone. Nice seeing you all.
You too.